Okay, stop what you are doing because NVIDIA just did something that I genuinely did not see coming, and I cover this stuff for a living. We are not talking about a driver update, we are not talking about a 10% performance bump that only shows up in a benchmark that nobody cares, right? We are talking about fundamental shift in how your GPU thinks about rendering a frame, to announcements, to different level of insane. Let's get into it. On March 31st, NVIDIA dropped the DLSS 4.5 update, and the headline feature is called Dynamic Multi-Frame Generation. Every previous version of frame generation had a fixed multiplier 2x, 4x. Didn't matter what was happening on screen, the GPU was locked into that gear. Heavy scene is still 4x. Simple menu screen is still 4x. Dumb, right? Dynamic multi-frame generation fixes that. It's basically the GPU watching the scene in real time and deciding how many frames to generate on the fly, targeting your monitor's refresh rate 120Hz, 144Hz, 240Hz. It shifts up or down depending on the load. Heavy movement in game, it upshifts. Light load, it backs off. The goal is always max smoothness without ever wasting compute. PC Gamer called the transition between modes practically instantaneous. Tom's guide said it stopped feeling like a hot rod and started feeling like a refined supercar. That's the energy we are dealing with here. And if you are on an RTX 50 series card, buckle up because DLSS 4.5 also brings 6x multi-frame generation. For every single frame your GPU actually renders, the AI generates 5 more. At 4K in path trace titles, that's a 35 jump percent over the old 4x mode. Pair that with NVIDIA Reflex and you are talking 240Hz OLED smoothness with latency that doesn't make your eyes lie to your hands. Now, here's the part that I think it's actually underrated. The super resolution update. Most upscalers, even good ones, work in what's called logarithmic space. It's compression trick to stop flickering, but the trade-off is that it mutes your colors and crushes your shadows. Your neon sign stop glowing, your reflection look flat. DLSS 4.5 second gen transformer model works in a linear space. The actual raw data the game engine produce, it uses 5x more compute than the original version, and the result is that the ghosting is basically gone, color stay accurate, and fine detail holds up in even motions. Oh, and they fixed the HUD problem. You know how frame gen would sometimes make your minimap look like it was rendered on a Nokia? That's past. The new enhanced frame generation model processes your UI separately from the world geometry. Toggle preset B in the NVIDIA app. Your health bar will thank you. To get all of this, grab the latest NVIDIA app update and make sure you are a game ready driver 595.97 WHQL or newer. That's it. Free upgrade for existing hardware. Okay, now we go deeper. Because while 4.5 is a serious update, DLSS 5 is a different conversation entirely. NVIDIA didn't just release a feature, they announced a new philosophy for how games are going to look. Back in March, Jensen Huang said something that stuck with me. He said, 25 years after we gave you a programmable shader, we are reinventing the whole game. He's calling DLSS 5 the GPT moment for pixels, and honestly, I think he might be right. Here's the problem DLSS 5 is trying to solve. Even an RTX 5090 has about 60 milliseconds to draw a single frame. A VFX artist at a Marvel studio might spend hours on one shot. That gap between what games look like and what movies look like, Nvidia is calling the cinematic gap, and brute force hardware was never going to close it. So instead of just upscaling resolution or generating frames, DLSS 5 actually infuses the scene with photoreal material and lightning. The AI takes the game basic color data and motion vectors and uses a neural model to reconstruct realistic skin, hair, and fabric in real time inside the 3D world. And this isn't a random hallucination machine. It's actually understand what it's looking at. It knows the difference between a character, hair, and their jacket. It reads the lighting of a scene from a lit, backlit, overcast, and applies a complex effect like subsurface scattering on the fly. That's the thing that makes skin look like the skin instead of plastic. Developers also get masking the color grading tools so the AI doesn't go rogue on the game's art direction. The AI is anchored to the 3D scene. It's just not making stuff up. The studio already on board. Heavy hitters Todd Howard confirmed it for Starfield and the Oblivion remaster. Capcom is integrating it into Resident Evil Requiem. Ubisoft using it for the Assassin's Creed Shadows. This fall is when it starts showing up in actual games. But look, I'm not just going to hype this and disappear. There are real concerns here and you deserve to hear them. First, native rendering is dying. DLSS 4 already generates 23 out of 24 pixels. DLSS 5 adds AI generated textures on top of that. At some point you have to ask what even is native anymore, and more importantly, if developers know the AI will clean up after them, does that kill the incentive to optimize properly in the first place? Second, the uncanny valley is real. The AI understands skin and hair in principle, but it can get things worse in subtle ways. A character's expression shifting slightly in a way that artist didn't intend. Something that looks almost right but feels off. That's a hard problem to solve and it's not fully solved yet. Third, the hardware wall. To get the best out of DLSS 5, you are going to want the tensor cores in the 50 series card. If you are on the older hardware, you get some of the benefits but not all of them. The full experience has a price tag attached. And the fourth, input lag. More AI feed layers in the pipeline can introduce a disconnect between what you see and what you feel. The game looks incredible, but sometimes it feels like you are reacting through a slight haze. For competitive players, that matters a lot. And one thing more, like DLSS 5 is just look like very what should I say, very fluffy, like very colorful. I mean, colorful is good, but not like. I'm going to show you the example if I think you are seeing the example, but like it is not very real. Not feels like a very real, or maybe too real, you know. So here's where I stand on all of this. DLSS 4.5 is a free upgrade that makes your existing setup genuinely better. Go get it right now. No debate. DLSS 5 is more complicated, it's most impressive graphic technology I have seen in years, and it's also the most controversial. Because it's not just a tool, it's a new philosophy. AI isn't assisting the rendering pipeline anymore. AI is the rendering pipeline here. So I want to hear from you in the comments. Do you want native 4K, every pixel earned by the hardware, or do you want neural photorealism, AI generated detail that no GPU could produce on its own? Drop it below, because that argument is going to define the next decade of PC gaming. If you found this useful, you will know what to do. I will catch you in the next one. Thank you.